welcome back everyone to an episode. And as you have already seen in the title and the description and the last episode and the community tab, this is sadly the last episode of the Ghoosebois SMP Season 3. Because due to a bunch of inactivity from other players, to be honest, including me, just because I've had a lot of school and work stuff going on lately, so I couldn't even be online as well. Um, the server is coming to an end, and for that, as you can see, we have actually cleared all of the snow, so the SD is, well, technically speaking, back to normal. And as you also can see, I am in creative mode, because there's one last thing that I want to finish before the server closes. Now, the server is planned to close on May 5th, and that is this Sunday, which means there has already been a week that didn't do anything, just because I didn't think about really doing anything else. I just planned to record the end when everyone comes on, we say goodbye, and then the server closes. But Goji and I had an idea that we should actually finish, well, I should finish the event, and that is actually going to be the last thing with which we will close the server, which, funny enough, would mean that I'm the person that built the first shop, the first event, and actually the last event. Don't think about the last shop, sadly. That would have been even funny if I actually was the person that opened and closed most of the stuff. Um, but yeah, we have already started in the last episode. The build is all the way over here because I didn't want to annoy anyone with it. As you can see, we did not get far in any way. So this is how much we've got. We need this times 4, but I have decided that I will do this in creative, just so I can actually finish it within this week and have it ready when everyone comes online. And I will just copy it over. That just makes it way easier, and I have more time to clean things up to have a finalized product. Funny enough, because I have found a few of the bugs and techniques which are within this build, I have now, through TikTok, on which I found most of these, found a lot more, which means there will likely, in Season 4, be another one of these. And yeah, so I would say, let's get over here and start the build. I'll finish the build. I have started it. Um, I will, again, as said, I will use creative and commands just because it will be way easier. I will not follow my schematics one-to-one because, of course, using commands that is close to impossible. So I will just do as much as I can in the time I have left. Hopefully get finished. So yeah, let's jump right over there in a time lapse and hopefully finish this. Let's go! Okay, we are back from the time lapse. We have finally finished all of the 4 segments. We'll need to change the biome data for a few of them so they all have the same color, just for the visual point. Now, I do have to be totally honest, I need to change some things because some parts of the build actually didn't work, sadly. I hope I have it all fixed. The thing is, when copying, so of course I didn't build this thing 4 times. The time was 4.5 hours long. I did not build that thing 4 times by hand. Um, thing is, a lot of the stuff actually broke because of course entities, stuff like that, don't get copied through World Edit for some reasons, or the all of the hoppers got deleted every time for no reason. I don't think they count as an entity, but I'm not sure. Um, so I need to replace all of those every time, and the water that actually is controlled through them flooded everything every time, so I need to fix that. I need to put in every item frame that I had in there because, of course, again, as said, it is a entity and thus needs to be replaced manually. All of the so if we actually quickly fly over here, the maze down here is actually pretty easy to solve because the water up above here actually shows you the correct path. As you can see, none of the water touches the outside except that one, and that is not a mistake because that is the exit. As you can see, exit right there, right there. So you can actually use this as a hint. That's why only the first player is supposed to go through at the start. So the second player up above can actually tell you where to go. Maybe they'll notice, maybe they won't. I don't think they will because it's pretty subtle. But it's fancy. And the thing is, this broke every time as well, just for like no reason. So the redstone broke every time because it's controlled by this hopper, and it constantly broke. The redstone door over here broke every time. Needed to fix that because it got out of lead. For some reason, there was a redstone input for these lines down here, which are just visual. They only activate the light inside. So that broke every time for no reason. Um, yeah, I'm not gonna question it. It just shouldn't have, technically. The spikes, of course, broke, but that makes sense because they aren't supposed to be there. They shouldn't be allowed to be placed there. I use commands to do that. This is, by the way, what I mean. I need to change the biome data so this doesn't happen. But yeah, everything except that, it should work. But I'm guessing that something will break because I need to fix so many things. Only if they are only entities, they do control quite a lot. So if we, for example, check down here, go through the blocks here, you need these shovels. There should be painting here because you shouldn't be allowed to see that. The lacton had some issues. All of the carpets broke. The snow broke. Down here is a pickaxe that always was away. Makes sense. All of the redstone that you need for the launcher disappeared constantly. So there's one there, one over there, one there, and one actually all the way up there. Which all of them, which you need collect, which you need to collect. Ah. So they always broke for some weird reason. I just realized I hope these fall down because there's long tower as you can see, and up above is one iron bar. You need that to glitch yourself through into that hole. The thing is, the plan was that you throw up a snowball that puts that like breaks it out of the item frame, and it falls down. Worked on the single player perfectly, but on the server it always glitches up through the top and then falls down. So what I did is I put a dispenser with a skulk sensor here, So you don't need to be perfectly 100% accurate anymore because the Skulk sensor will pick up the snowball braking like down here as well, so that shouldn't be the issue, so it will get dropped down. But I just realized that is basically the same thing as over here, so I hope that this won't glitch up on top of here because of course the players won't be able to get here. Of course, I will always be able to get notified if something breaks or something's wrong, so the players will be able to just like call me, be like, hey, something broke, could you quickly come fix that? So I'm going to probably need to fix like a lot of things because everything broke. But we will just have to see. And for the courtyard that someone suggested to be here, which I really like still, um, I will try to build it a bit, but I want to try and get Lemonade, our server builder, on so we can build this together because he has a really cool look in building style, and I want. Okay, to be honest, I sort of don't want to build it because it took a long time to just fix this. I'm kind of burnt out. I will try to get it done in case we can't get Lemonade on, but if I could get Lemonade on, that would have been perfect. So yeah, let's try that. I will quickly fix the biome data, and yeah, then we will just have to see. Okay, as you can see, there has been a few changes since the last clip, because we had Lemonade online, and both of us sort of redesigned the mid here. As you can see, there is now a little sort of like fake skybox. This is just because Lemonade planned to play in the event with another player, and so I just wanted to make sure that he can't see what is actually behind, so he couldn't just like peek across, see what everything's doing, and figure out a way to beat it. As you can see, we do not have the X's anymore because we've moved them to these things. They are supposed to be manhole covers, if we just go through them. By the way, if you want to know, these are falling blocks, so like sand, they're entities and not blocks, that's why we can pass through them and place blocks within. They are just a simple command like this one, so if you want to have these as well, feel free to take them. And as you can see, it is being moved. Lemonade actually built these. So we basically just pushed the end from here all the way to over there, just pushed it a bit further in so it looks a bit better. The way to exit is still the same. Funny enough, you could, before, I noticed you could use the seats, because of course these things count as seats. You could basically just run to the thing and click here so it would seat through the block. We fixed that because, as you can now see, you can't actually sit anymore, at least in this region. So fixed that, and we have lowered the roof. Well, I'm always saying we, but actually this was all Lemonade. So Lemonade lowered the roof a bit, so it's a bit more, well, actually sewer-like, to have more tight space. And this is how the exits now look. So yeah, now we have these 4 manhole covers over here. By the way, that one sounds a block, but because it's an entity, it doesn't load. So we will try to have a design for something that goes in here. We're planning like a little park, not like the initial planning of the courtyard. We're now planning to have a little park here with trees, maybe a little pond, something like that. We will have to see where it goes. Yeah. So let's. I'm guessing we'll put in some trees just to have a little head start. Lemonade will try to get on in the following days, so we can figure something out here to have a better look. So yeah, let's crack on with that. Well, um, as you can see, the event build is finished, but clearly there is no one else online and no event. Now, this has multiple reasons. I've decided to move the event to another date. I will host it on my private server because, sadly, both Goji and Lee, the two owners of Goosebois, wouldn't be able to make it to today's event, which would be the last big thing happening on the server. And of course, if that would happen with them, it would be better than without them, this being their server. This is also the reason why I will not really say goodbye to the server yet, as I will clearly need to go on the server at least once more to host the event. So it is not the last episode yet, but I also can't say when the last episode will come, sadly. I was really hyped for it on this episode, but yeah, just because of a lot of things happening right now, I got ill again. Yeah, we can't really host it at the moment. So we'll move it back maybe 2-3 weeks. I will have to see when I can get my hands on the world file. If I can host it, I will try to have a better planning for it this time, so it isn't as quickly thought about. I mean, yeah, we came up with the idea for this event this week and kept it just running, which doesn't really make sense. I mean, planning an event in 1 week, quite challenging, and it would most likely not end well, as we can see. We would have only had 2 teams because, of course, totally understandable. The requirements I had, some people had issues with them, like not wanting to show their voice or can't record their game, or of course just having finished with the server, which is everything totally understandable. It's just that, of course, having 2 teams would be not close enough interesting for it to be the last event of the server. And I don't really want to have it be the last event of the server, considering only having 2 teams, which is 4 players. So I've decided to, as said, move it back to another date. I will keep you all posted in the community tab. But yeah, sadly, this is it for this episode. This will be the last recording on the Ghoosebois S.3 server. So yeah, it has been an honor being on the server, being invited to Season 3, of course. Want to thank OG and Lee for having me be such a huge part of the server, having me be one of the moderators, and not even really knowing me, that they trust me so much to do that. So that is greatly appreciated. I will hope to be able to host Season 4, because I believe I can't spoiler it. It is planned that I get at least a partial hold of the server, and will be hosting Season 4 and everything after that. So yeah, if everything goes to plan, maybe in the next season I will be in the description, named as the owner, together with Tonkin and Lee. Or maybe not. We do not know yet. Or at least I don't know yet. We will have to see. But yeah, I think with this, I will have to say, see y'all in the next episode. You all have a great rest of your day. Have a good one. Goodbye.